guys, and welcome back to Techmas. I'm here with Gunther and our Christmas tree, just celebrating the day. It's been, you know, our 10th season of this, Gunther. We've been through a lot, back from the days of the early Alpha Incorporated headquarters to our other, more maybe dubious explorations. We've done a lot, Gunther. We've done a lot. And we've done a lot this season as well. There is a creeper. Where did you come from? This is why it's dangerous to go out at night. We've done a lot this season. Yes, we have. So, as every Christmas, we will go through a little bit of what we've done. Explore some of our adventures. This season, we mostly focused on the create mod. And so we did a lot with that. I think I won't want to say everything that it has to offer, but quite a bit of what it has to offer. We covered at least the basics of it. We didn't really get too deep into some of the more elaborate things that you can do. If we quickly type in create here, you'll see, right, like this cart assembler. Take a quick ponder of this. This would have allowed us to build like contraptions onto mine carts, and then they would have been able to do all kinds of crazy things. Like, look, you can pick up this whole drill system, and then it just goes and drills. We never built the drill either. We could have built our own, quarry, where it just dug straight down to bedrock. That would have been fun. With the mechanical drill here, would have not been particularly efficient or effective or any of those words, because it is not a we'd have to build a million of these piston extensions to push it, but we could have. This mod has a really nice mechanical harvester here that we featured to harvest our plants that kept getting crushed by the stupid slimes off of Slime Island. I think potentially a more effective way to utilize this harvester would have been to have it in the center of a field, like where I have my water blocks, have it be in the center and it sweeps around and collects everything. One way that would have been more helpful is with this portable storage interface, right? You can't typically interact with these contraptions, but when this touches another one, I think, of itself, yes, so like when it spins around here, you'll see it'll stop, it'll connect. The items from this will be then pumped into anything on this side, and vice versa. So that would have been a way, right? Like we could have had a big farm with just a big windmill, basically, that sweeps around and collects all the things, and when it hits a certain point, it deposits them. Would have been a more automated way of doing it. But we started this mod off with just the drill press, or the mechanical press here, right? And so that was I think the best part about this mod is the fact that like everything is so visual with it. It's not the most effective mod. There's definitely a lot more efficient mods. Um, like I think Mechanism. There's a lot of the other ones that like have a much easier way of like filtering items, right? Like I had to build this whole stupid filter system. Better ways of mechanically crafting items. There's definitely things that have much higher like efficiency rates, and also more compact. Energy is able to be stored, as opposed to this where energy has to continuously be generated even if it's not being used. And that's alright, that's whatever. But we built the press. The press is really only for making sheets, which honestly, with the Tinkers thing here, we could make sheets. We had the press of immersive engineering that made sheets. I think a bunch of other ways to make sheets. So nothing, particularly interesting here. if we had put a basin, there were some other crafting pieces that would have utilized the basin and allowed us to like compact things into it. I think there were probably other things that the press could have been used for. And same thing goes for this mixer. We were using it primarily to make brass, which again, the smeltery already could have produced brass for us, but we were trying to explore this mod pack a little more in depth. And so this was making brass. It was a cheaper way of making andesite alloys as well, so that was, helpful. And one thing that I did want to do if we were to, further progress in this mod and make the thing a little bit more automated was make one of the deployers to perpetually fuel the blaze burner, right? Because obviously right now I have to come down, fuel it up myself. An interesting sort of thing would have been to have a way to test if the mechanical mixer needed fuel, or I sent like items down to it and then have the deployer give it its requisite fuel. And obviously the deployer could have been fueled by other things too, right? Like, yeah, power that. And then these over here, we found out are actually a really kind of fun thing as well. These deployers on the belts that you can turn into a sort of automated process to make things. Let's see if I can get over here. And so, right, like they would come through, we'd put their andesite alloys on here and make cogwheels in a much higher effective manner than we normally do, at least by crafting in our inventory. So that was another fun thing. The crusher was hilarious to try to figure out how to get this all functional. And oh boy, we got it functional. It works. uh, um, it certainly works. It processes very quickly. It spits out, well, I mean, I did just put 30 in there, but it'll spit it out fairly quickly and then go through its whole system. I do wonder, I didn't have the time, or, I mean, wouldn't really require too many resources. I just didn't, what? Okay, I definitely just saw cobblestone come out. Why is this cobblestone? I don't get why that didn't shoot out of there. And then we have our mechanical arm that puts it onto here, and why am I so slow? Now this is the problem, right? It processes this one nugget at a time up to the top. And we now have 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my god, there's so many nuggets. So many nuggets. And so I do wonder if a smart chute, I know, can process more than one item at a time. It can process entire stacks. I do wonder if you had switched these out with a smart chute elevator, if it would have done entire stacks at a time. So that's another thing that, oh look, they're right there. They're going in one at a time. Yep. But, oh, that might also be the problem, is this andesite funnel. Do I still have, I do have brass funnels. Let's try this real quick. Oh, it did just absorb all of them. I want to see if it is going to process them going up all at once. See, that puts it over there. It zooped it all in. That might have been our issue this whole time, was just needing a brass funnel there as opposed to a andesite funnel, right? Yeah. So there, we fixed that in the last episode. We fixed it. Good job. What else was over here that we needed, that we did? Nothing really, right? I mean, this mod pack is a lot of fun to work with. I did really enjoy playing with it, experiencing everything that there is. We have our little burning depot. This process here actually produces more out of one ore. Well, it has the potential to produce more out of one ore than the smeltery does. So that's actually like pretty big, at least for regular ores. Obviously for things like netherite and everything like that, you need a little bit more. But this is definitely a effective mod. We track their things. And so we built, you know, a nice little base here. We have our little kitchen here. We have a storage room over here. And now look at, bam. So when we absorb all of these back into my inventory, let's watch the number go up. So it's 1 ingot, 14 blocks, 22 blocks, and 5 ingots. We just got 7 whole blocks of iron out of that. This is another thing that to me seems kind of useless. A fluid tank really does not sound like the most effective thing. In other mods, usually you have an easier way of producing a resource, a liquid resource like lava, or you might need water specifically to do something. Like I'm thinking, you know, back with immersive, right? We had our need for biodiesel and the 500 other liquids that went into making biodiesel. We needed water for specific things. So we needed pumps, we needed tanks, we needed all that stuff for immersive engineering. Create doesn't really have a use for water, and the way to make lava using Create also not entirely helpful. Like it wasn't worth putting the effort into making a tank system and hooking it up to our base. Which, by the way, I never mentioned this on camera. I did actually have a name for this base. I'm calling it the Reservoir because we've got the big water and we're using water primarily for power. So, the Reservoir. And then, of course, we have our typical things that we do every season. You know, the salesperson, the smeltery. These Alex mobs that we added in the one season are a lot of fun to play with. They're just kind of chilling. We got the other guys down there, the raccoons. I didn't do so much with them this time because we kind of did that last season. And I built, of course, you know, an opulent little office up here for me. It does appear as if though my large, scaly underwater menaces have either killed themselves or otherwise despawned. I never named them, so I guess, you know, that could be part of the problem. And then that mantis shrimp I have tamed, so that's mine. We've got, you know, our regular stuff down here, or well, regular. I didn't put this furniture mod. It's not it's interesting. I can't. Oh, you can't click the top of it to open it. I had a roof mod and everything, right? Just to kind of increase the aesthetics of the base. And in the future seasons, we will hopefully have a better use for our base. And these windows are, you know, kind of whatever. They're not particularly great. Pam's Harvest Craft, always a good time if you install cooking with for blockheads as well. kind of not great on its own, the amount of work that goes into Pam's Harvest Craft to actually make the food if you don't have the other one installed as well. But I think that covers just about, well, actually, real quick, I mean, I showed them, we saw them before. Our windmills down there are not the greatest source of power. They hold a lot of stress capacity, and that's kind of where they excel. The water wheels are pretty cheap to make, I guess, is the counter there, is that they are cheap, and so that is always good for them. And so there you go. There you have it. I think that's going to wrap up the season for us again. So here we are at the reservoir, and we've done a lot with Create. this season. We have our little saw thing out there. I don't know if I mentioned that in our recap. Next season, I'm not really sure what we're going to do. We have to find another mod pack to explore. Maybe one of the ones that we used in previous seasons will have updated in some capacity. But for now, I'm not sure what we're going to do for next season. We'll have as always, we will have a Minecraft Christmas. Minecraft modded Christmas every year. Every year. But for now, as usual, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And Merry Christmas!